Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my Waves of Communication channel. My name is Marci Melzer, and I'm an intuitive speech language pathologist and language facilitation coach and consultant. And it's my mission to equip and empower parents and caregivers all over the world to facilitate the spoken language that your child needs to share their wisdom with the world. And today I have a super fun video, action packed. I've got info about a 20% discount from my membership, which is launching today. It's been active, but it's really super launching today. This is June 1st, 2023. And I've got dun, 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 my TEMU haul. I've got my TEMU packages here ready to go. We're going to be talking about teethers. So let me give you just a tiny bit of background. I decided to do this TEMU sensory teether haul because I have been visiting with families, and there are a lot of families that have kids who are late talking, who have either true autism or virtual autism, or it doesn't matter why they're late talking. One of their communication behaviors is they put a lot of things in their mouth, their fingers or objects or things around. They're putting things in their mouth, dirt, rocks, sticks, peeling things off trees. They're putting all these things, they're licking walls. They're using their mouth as an exploration or they're putting things in their mouth to trigger you. There's lots of reasons that kids use this oral behavior, oral meaning stuff in their mouth. And so I've done a lot of videos about stimming behavior and how to use these things. But what I would like to do is sort of demo a little of that while at the same time I'm doing this TEMU haul, because I kind of like watching these shows, and I do have a discount code for you. So stay tuned so you can see all of it. So let's get into the TEMU haul. So what I did was a few things. I went through and found things that I suspected would work. And, we're going to test them out for durability. We're going to test them out for ease of use, for cleaning, all that stuff, because these are things I know that parents will use consistently or over and over again. And the other thing that I did was I cross-compared these things to Amazon.com, because the reality is these kinds of teether things, the really durable ones that are going to hold up for older kids, these used to only be accessible on specialty sites for occupational therapists or speech therapists. And now you can get these things all over on these sites because they're all just made in China out of silicone and whatever. So I know that kids go through them. I know they lose them. I know some are more durable than others. So I decided I wanted to go through some of these with you, and you can look at them and watch them and see which one might resonate for you and your child and your situation. Plus, why not? Let's just have a little fun with this. All right. So without further ado, let's get in and look at this stuff. So the first thing that I have, what I've done too, is I've gone through and put the explanations here. So we're going to start with number one here, which is the soothing silicone teether stick, which is actually the listing, but what I found was the turtle one. And I like that this was boilable, grasping toy for babies. Now, this one is made for babies. Now, let's see. They all come in pretty easy to open packages. I didn't have to get scissors for any of these. And here's this turtle. Now it's going to show up in a funky color because I've got my green screen on. But it is green. It's sort of an olive color green, if you can see up against my shirt or my hand like that, something. So this is super durable. You can pull on this. You can stretch on this. I'm pulling as hard as I can, and this thing's not going to break. You could bite it. You could chew on these legs, and you look like that. Do they get thinner? Not really. I mean, and they're bumpy, so there's texture on them. This is a really durable Chewy. This is something that any kid of any age probably could use because, like I said, I'm an adult. I have an adult size grip on and bite on my teeth, and this thing is super thick and super durable, made for teething, boilable, cleanable. You could put this thing in your dishwasher or your microwave or however you sanitize kids' toys. This kind of thing would be really good. Now we're going to do all the prices when I do the comparison on the other thing, but this is the turtle teether. That now you can see the actual color of it when I have it up against my skin. This is the turtle teether. That's number one. Okay, number two is the fidget keychain slug toys. So this was only one 3D printed slug, articulated stretch, blah, 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 blah. Let's see what it looks like. It's this. Now, there were a couple of things that I really liked about this particular toy, fidget toy. First of all, it's made of that same silicone, but this one's harder. This turtle also was pretty hard, but these were even harder and they're fatter. So to bite on this, oh, look at that. I just broke it. So this one's maybe not so good and durable. Actually, it's the second time I broke it. I pulled on it earlier and it came apart. So this is a keychain. So look, maybe the caterpillar keychain, not so good for a kid who's going to bite on this hard, or a little kid. Yeah, cute, super cute, but maybe not so durable for a bitey Chewy. I thought this would be more durable even because it was harder. And I also really liked that this has a strap that you could put on your arm. But again, this thing pulled off pretty, look, it even pulled off just again. So this one, not so good. The caterpillar one that you can see. Okay. So some of them are good, some of them not so good. That's why watching this video might help you before. So I'm trying them out before you buy them and waste your money on them. All right. Let's look at the third thing that I picked from TEMU, and that is the One Peach Decompression Relaxation Silicone Caterpillar Fidget Toy. So that one is here in this package. So this one I do have scissors because it's not a resealable package. So I'm going to go ahead and open this one. And I chose this because it's a little bit different. It's not super hard like the first one. It's actually got air in it, which means that you would have to, puncture. If you punctured this, it would lose some of its, appeal. Because I think part of the appeal is you can squeeze this thing. And I'm really pulling on this thing and working really hard with it. I can bite it. This is super good, super good. And it's got suction cups on it. So you can stick it to things. You can stick it to a mirror. You could stick it to a countertop, especially if you got it wet. You could put it in the bathtub or play with it in the water. It would float. See where these other ones might sink. This one would float. And if your kid gets super excited while they're playing in the water and they're splashing with it and they pick it up and bite on it, it's not that big of a deal. And it will help you keep your kid regulated while the water's splashing and they're so excited. If they need a chance to calm down and get regulated, they could bite on something like this. I really like this caterpillar. It came in a lot of different colors and stuff, and it's super durable. I love this one. So far, this one and the turtle are winners for me. I like it. It's cute too. This one, all different colors. Like I said, they had green ones and purple ones. This was random though. On TEMU, you don't necessarily get to pick your color. It's like I said, we'll compare the prices because all of these things I did find, with one exception, were available on Amazon, and that thing is not even available on TEMU. That's the other thing, guys. You'll see the reason I put the descriptions in here is because things on TEMU sell out. Now, I found I found all of these things on both TEMU and Amazon, and I know that you'll be able to find them if you look for the keywords. It may not be that seller, it may be something else, but these are super common kinds of teethers. That's why I chose them, because I know that you'll have ones to pick from. So I like this guy. If he deflates, like if you bite him or punch a hole in him, he's going to change. But like I said, really like this caterpillar. Okay, so that's the first 4 of these things. Oh, nope, there's one more. First 3, one more on here. Baby shark teether necklace. Of course, I had to do the baby shark teether necklace because all the kids like baby sharks and I live by the ocean, so I wanted to do the baby shark. So this one came in a resealable package. And it's also made out of silicone. This one's blue. It has a few little teeth, like a few little ridges in it so it looks like an actual tooth, but it's pretty basic. It's just kind of a triangle, and it comes on a string. These strings on these teethers, they usually have the quick release kind of cord. So if you pull hard on it, they pop apart. Let's see if this one does. Yep, it does. So that your child won't choke themselves if they're wearing this around their neck. Now, this one is kind of a double lanyard. It has 2 layers of closure on the thing, but as a rule, these sorts of closures and these sorts of strings, they don't last very long. And a lot of kids don't like to wear this around their neck. Now, they will chew on this guy. You can chew on it like this, all you want. It's super hard. Again, it's a super hard silicone. There's no give on this like there is on this one. And the turtle one has a little bit more give because you can bite, sort of like that. You can shove that whole thing in your mouth. When you think about how kids play, they're going to experiment and shove things in their mouth and do all kinds of things like that. This thing, they'll put the whole thing in their mouth, but also they might want to toss it. And if they have a string, they can toss it. This one's small enough to toss. They'll do different things. This one will sink in the water, probably. So again, they'll be chewing on the string. The string will get dirty. We're going to talk about another solution that I have about that too, but just something so you can see. Now, I put some teeth marks in this as I bit on it, as I look at it closely. So it may wear out eventually. It's also not very big. When you look at it compared to my hand, it's a pretty small thing. And an older child will be able to fit this whole thing into their mouth. They won't be able to choke on it, but they will be able to put the whole thing in their mouth and chew on it, which may not be so good. I don't like the idea of kids having hands-free mouth action, sort of like a pacifier in there, because they'll use their hands for things around them and their mouth will be full of whatever their chewy is. So that's one of those reasons that I don't like this one so much. Again, the string serves a purpose, but a lot of kids don't like it, and it's pretty small. So you can see, like I said, compared to my hand, how big it is, and that might make a difference for you depending on your child. All righty. So let's see. We're going to move forward with this haul into the next slide. So I've got 4 more things to show you in this haul. The first one we're going to show is this round silicone bubble chewing pendant. All right. And this is it. Again, it comes in an easy access pouch. And this is similar to the shark tooth one. In fact, I can show you size wise. They are very similar in size, right? About the same size. But this one has another function. It has a pop button on it that you can pop back and forth. See, pop it like that. And so it actually also has a dinosaur on this one. And the outside is that same super hard silicone. Super, super hard. This won't likely break. I'm trying to shove my thumb through it, to see, because kids also will get these things and try to destroy them just because they can as they explore it. You put the whole thing in. This is going to be our challenge. This is good for an older child. I like this one that is the pop feet with the pop feature and the bigger circle better than the shark tooth. I feel like this has more durability and more function. It's like because you can pop it. There's circles on one side, there's a little dinosaur on the front of it, and this is just shark tooth. Also, they both have the same closures. It looks like this one has, yeah, they exactly the same strings, exactly the same closures on both of these. Again, the string is may or may not help you with your child. Like I said, they're just there to sort of be worn around the neck. And these teethers, they're good to let your child have when they're on their own, if they need to wait, if they need to, keep them busy or something like that while you're doing something else. But you also want to let them have these things when you're engaging with them and offer them. Would you like to chew on this while you're thinking about that? Would you like to chew on this while you're working and you're writing even? If their hands are busy with something else and they go, that's one of those reasons they could have something in their mouth to chew on. Some kids chew on bubble gum or things like that, but these are sort of the calorie-free, sugar-free alternatives for those kinds of reasons that you use them. But again, here's some more options for you. This bubble one is the next one. All right, let's move on to the next one. And it is the push pop bubble fidget keychain. And this is the one thing that I found because it was super small. And it's, the typical pop fidgets like, we have that you see, but they're made of silicone. So I thought, well, there's a couple nice perks about having something small like this. You can fit it in your hand. You can fit the whole thing in your mouth. Once again, like that. Although I just pulled on it. It didn't break, but yeah. I'm trying to be pretty hard on these things to see how far they go. I wouldn't necessarily trust this keychain attachment thing. This is more probably designed to be used with your fingers to pop the bubbles, just like, the typical fidget spinner. But when you see it, it's a little bear. It's smaller than the size of my hand, so it's not very hard to keep track of, to hold on to, leave in your purse, have super handy. So any of these sorts of pop fidget things that are made of silicone, as long as they're big enough and they don't have too many small appendages coming off of them that your kid could bite off, these are all right for your mouth. And you can dual purpose again, like the other pop one. You can use your fingers to pop the buttons as well as your mouth to pull on this. But I would maybe reconsider this keychain attachment because these pop rings against the silicone, one or the other might give, just like it happened with that caterpillar one, right? I don't want you to have this broken just because, your kid's pulling. Like I said, that part comes off. It literally just popped off. So this didn't break, but the metal did. So, and this isn't good for your mouth, for your child's mouth. This is a choking hazard. So again, you have to remember, if you're offering your child to use these things by themselves, you want to leave them without any choking hazard. Even though this is chewable material, the fact that it's attached to this metal thing is something you need to consider. And I have a solution for that coming up. But there are just a couple more to look at. So that's the small push pop bubble fidget keychain. And then I have this big one. So I bought some big ones because I just wanted to see the difference between those little ones and these big ones. So like I said, here is a large size. These are Pokemon shaped one. And he has some extra appendages. So there's other things here that might be able to pull apart or break, those sides. Although it looks very sturdy to me, I'm trying to pull all the little edges and things like that. And it looks pretty good. I can chew it and bite on it and wail it. But your child might not be used to chewing on these things. They might be used to just popping them with their hands, because maybe that's how you showed them how to use these sorts of toys. But these can be really good things to chew on. And if your child does pick it up and start chewing on it, don't necessarily take it out of their mouth. Show them how to keep it clean, show them how to keep it handy in case they need to chew on it again. Oh, look at you. That's helping you stay calm, pay attention, wait for me, whatever that thing is helping with. Let's bring it along when we go to the doctor's office. Let's bring it along when we go in the car. Let's bring it along when we have to go wait in line at the grocery store, right? That's what these are for, not just to help keep your child busy, but to help them stay regulated so that in these places you can teach them other things. They're chewing on their chewy while you're talking about which brand of rice you should buy or which whatever. They're watching you like they would watch YouTube videos or whatever, and they're just chewing on their chewy. You can use these to replace snacks, right? You don't have to keep feeding your child food if you give them something to chew on. And it might seem like, well, this is good or bad, or I don't want my child chewing on things. All of this chewing is okay and good for your child as long as these things stay clean. That's why you have to keep track of them. And it can't be just we make these things and throw them in a bucket for your child to pick, whichever. This is a cooperative activity you have to have with all these things so that you introduce it, you demonstrate how to use it, you offer it again and again and again when you see your child's not regulated. Because a lot of people use chewing. They chew their nails, they chew their hair, they chew their pencils, the end of their pencils, they chew chewing gum, they put candy in their mouth all the time. We do this when we feel anxious, right? Now, if you have a thing that your child needs, these don't stay forever. People are worried that their kids are going to get hooked on these chewies. They don't, because they need to use their mouth to talk. And they need to use their hands to manipulate things, to write, to explore, to open their containers, to reach their whatevers. And they'll use their mouth to help them open things and do things just like we all do, right? So they won't maintain holding on to these toys and carrying around. Their mouth will be too busy learning words because you're there talking to them the whole time they're using these things, and they will put them down and start talking to you. This is what's better about using these things that you manipulate. You have to hold it in your hand and get it in your mouth. That's what's so good about these kind of teether things, is that they keep a child's mind able to focus on listening to you because they're regulated, they're soothed, their mouth is moving, and the motor activity activates their listening to activate their neuroplasticity. So chewing on stuff is a good idea. It's just as good as jumping on a trampoline or playing in the water or the sand or manipulating with soap or drawing with chalk. All of these activities that are focused effort, because they'll chew in the way they like, that makes them feel good, that helps them work on those molars coming in. At the same time, they're staying calm and listening to you. These aren't just to give your child to pacify them. These aren't pacifiers. They're stimulation toys to stimulate your child's brain, help them stay regulated so you can stimulate them with new spoken language models, okay? Now, the last thing that I want to show you about all these things that I think is important for anybody who uses these is this toy harness. It's a silicone baby teether toy harness, and this is what the parents use, the moms use. They're marketed to keep track of your child's toys. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the prices in a minute. But here they are. So this package has 5 of them, and they're all made of silicone. So your child could even chew on this harness thing, and they're really big. And so they hook on to everything. There's no metal. They're all one piece. You can throw even this thing in the dishwasher and it can attach to any of these little things. So like this one has a hole and it's a pretty small hole. So it might be challenging to get some of these through, but you could tie it in here if this is a hole. That's the idea though, is to use these things instead of the strings or instead of the metal things that break like that. Use these metal things. You can tie them around your child's wrist to keep it. That's why I like this one, because it's small enough. This keychain one, it fits on the child's wrist, but it has these metal things on it. This one I like better because it's all silicone. You can wrap it around. You can clip it to your child's overalls or seat belt or child chair or stroller or whatever, right? They could even wear it around their neck. It's very short, so it's probably not a neck thing. But again, would pull out because it's just a hole, a ball in the hole kind of situation where you push it through. And then this little thing wraps around whatever you're holding on to. You could even wrap it around this guy, right? If you just hold on to it, these things are all stretchy. So you can wrap it all the way around this guy, put it through the hole. And now even this guy is tethered to you and your child so that if they do throw it, if they do toss it, even now it's a new toy. You can swing this thing around. So there's all these kinds of ways to use these things. But I love these toy straps. This is called Toy Straps for Baby. This is what the thing looks on. But let's look at the prices now. So that's the other thing. Now, TEMU, as a spoiler, is available only in the US, right? So US and Canada, I think, have access to TEMU, and Amazon, I know, is available other places. So just in case you don't have Amazon or you don't have TEMU, you can get them on Amazon. So let's take a look at the costs, right? So 1 through 8, let's go through. It's an incredible difference when you look at these. This turtle teether and TEMU was $2.69, and it was $8.81 on Amazon. Now, the slug teether was only $1.07. On Amazon, you could only buy them in a pack of 6, and that 6 was $9.99. So you're probably getting a cheaper cost. I don't know, no 6 for $9.99. That's more expensive. So you're almost going to be paying, instead of for 6. So Caterpillar teether, $3.08, just for that one, the squeezy one that I like that floats. And you can buy them in a pair of 2 on Amazon, but it was $11.48 for 2 of them. So you could order 2 of them for just over $6 or $11 on Amazon. This shark tooth teether was only $1.98. Like I said, I got these cheap ones because I wanted to see, well, what is the cheap one? Can we get away with cheap ones, or do we need to spend a little bit more money to get the better quality? And we found with that, slug teether, not so great. Bear bubble keychain, also not so great because the metal parts. That's why those were cheaper. The shark tooth one, also not my favorite, but look at how much. It's $9.99 for 3 of those on Amazon. And that's way higher cost. The single bubble teether that I like, that was $2.24. So it seems like you got to spend more than $2 to get a really quality teether on TEMU. And on Amazon, you could only buy them in a pack of 4, and they were $8.78. Now, the Bear Bubble keychain, like I said, that particular one is not available anymore on TEMU, but they had other similar ones, and it was just over $1. And on Amazon, they had these small ones just in packs of 20 for $15. So that's cheaper per thing. But remember, you're going to have to attach it to something else because the keychain is the part that's not so great. These are more like for party favors, I think. So Number 7 was the large bubble fidgets, those big ones, and that was a pack of 4. And Amazon also sells them in a pack of 4. But you can see on TEMU, they were $6.48. And on Amazon, they were $10, $9.99. And then the toy harnesses, which are a must for everybody to have, they were only $5, $4.94 on TEMU, and they were $12, $11.99 on Amazon. So you can see there's a big difference in these items. Now, the other thing that's cool about this, everybody, is I have a TEMU code for you. So I should have said this at the beginning. This is not a sponsored video. TEMU didn't send me these things. They didn't send me money. I bought these things myself. And I used a discount code that I found from one of the influencers that I like to watch. She was doing a haul, and I thought, all right, I'll support her and use her code. So I have a code for you to use. If you want to get any of these teethers, buy other things, there's a ton of cool stuff. You could get sucked into the TEMU, rabbit hole. I kind of have. I bought stuff for my daughter's wedding. I got stuff for my house. It's, shop like a billionaire, all of that stuff. I enjoyed the TEMU experience. And the other thing I wanted to share is you get free shipping, especially on this first order, because they really want you to start buying. But eventually what it is if you buy certain amounts of things and they send you all kinds of coupons, you end up getting free shipping. So it's not like you've got your Amazon Prime, you get free shipping, but you have to pay all the shipping on this stuff. And since it's a company that's based in the US, you only have to wait about 10 days for the items to come. It's not overnight or right away like it is on Amazon. You don't get the Prime 2-day thing, but you get it within 10 days. And so as long as you plan ahead, you can get the savings. And on top of even all those savings that I showed you, you can get an extra 30% discount if you're new to TEMU. And that's the code right here, AFC 92454. I know it's not super trendy or whatever because I'm new to this, but that's my code if you want to support me. And also if you want to download the app to your phone through my link, my little affiliate link, it's down in the link, the description below, so that you can see this amazing offer. So that was my TEMU haul. I hope you liked all that stuff. Like I said, going through these, I was inspired to do this, to get these guys and demonstrate how to use them and remind you that it's okay to give your kids things to help accommodate their needs. And that's what we do in order to help, create these win-win environments. We need these kids to try hard. We need them to work, and we need them to do things in a different way, because if they keep doing things the same way, their brain will just keep developing in their visual, nonverbal communication things, and their anxiety about trying hard or modeling, imitating you, doing all that stuff could be blocking them from doing just that. And that's what they need to do. And that's why with language facilitation, we teach you how to get your kids to copy you and imitate you and try the things that you're saying. Pick up what you're laying down is what I say often. We do that because that is what's necessary. They do have to try new ways to communicate. And you can't make them try anything new, but you can motivate them to do it. You can get them excited. And the only time they will choose to move out of their comfort zone is when they feel regulated. And that's why all of these things to help you, these accommodations, things like taking time outside and playing in water and jumping on trampolines and incorporating a schedule and boundaries and all of those things into your day. That's why all of this is so important, to keep your child making progress and moving forward. So I do have a little Q&A to do today. I hope you enjoyed that TEMU haul. And if you're new to my channel, just because you like TEMU hauls and maybe you have a child with autism and you wanted to learn about those things, let me explain a little bit more about what we do. So I have a question today that came in from Risha Diaries, who is one of my followers. And she says, "Hey, Marci, I'm already on board with your resources, be it workbook, newsletter, workshop, or membership. And all these things keep me going. A big thanks to you. But a lot of behaviors are gone, and he's speaking wonderfully these days, which is amazing. So congratulations to Risha about there. But when we get these big howevers, we see that one or two of the behaviors have come back, which she's trying to manage and settle again. But you want to understand if behaviors like stimming keeps coming back during the journey of language facilitation for her 6-year-old late talker, who is now talking pretty well. Now, the first thing that I'm going to recommend for Risha is here in this next slide. I actually have 2 videos just to highlight for you, and they're here on my channel. Now, training level members have access to all of the best strategies for consistent progress, because what we know about the language facilitation journey and the whole, one of the reasons that it's called waves of communication is because there's lots of ups and downs. Because what happens in this process, it's a very intuitive process. And so the child starts to see a change in the parents. That's what happens. First, the parents decide they want to change. They start talking differently. They start engaging more. They start following the child's lead. They start interpreting and modeling and demonstrating instead of forcing and manhandling and chasing and demanding. And when that happens, the children change. So first the parents change, then the children change, and they start to try the new things, just like you are. If you used to chase your child down and put your hands on them or brush their teeth for them or feed them in front of the videos or all those other habits that you've started to change, and you've already done that. You've decided to eliminate the tech in your life. You decided to try other things to do with your child. So because you made a change, you will see them make a change, just like Risha Diaries did. She saw her child give up some of those behaviors. Maybe they were tantrums. Maybe it was screaming. Maybe it was hitting. Maybe it was dragging the mother around and pushing them. Maybe it was escaping or impulsivity. All those things that language facilitation makes decrease because the kids don't need those behaviors anymore. Most of the time, they use them to get your attention. And when you give kids attention, they don't need to use those behaviors anymore. Unless you've been doing it for a while and maybe you get triggered. Somebody said something that made you question what you're doing. Maybe you see your child got triggered. Maybe they had somebody come in their life and try to force them. Even after you've stopped it, you present them with somebody else who tries to do it. Maybe you got worried about your child getting older, or you went to see other kids and they were doing more than your child. And so you could have slipped back into your old habits of prompting or forcing or manhandling, or your child could have slipped into old habits of detaching and running away or feeling like they have to manipulate the environment because they got triggered back into feeling like, oh no one's helping me. I've lost control and I need to manipulate again. That's the only time that kids will pick these behaviors back up, when either the parent is triggered and they go back to old behaviors, old habits, old things that you used to do that you went back to, or you put your child in front of somebody else who uses those habits and they don't trust that you will save them from those situations where people disempower them, force them, they don't give them time and space and energy to learn their new things. This is why children do so well at home, but if they are not school ready and you send them to school, that things break down at the school and they suddenly lose all of the ability to do the things that they've been doing all at home. And that's why this summer, it's going to be very important that you work with your child, not just on improving their speech and saying more words and participating with you one-on-one in the house or in your backyard. You've got to get these kids out in the community and meeting other people, engaging with peers, going to social experiences and trial and error through those experiences. That's why you're always going to be having days where you're not perfect at what you're doing. Of course, you're not perfect at what you're doing. You're in this because you're trying to solve a problem of this delay. So I had somebody else on YouTube ask me a question. Let's see, here it is. Oops. She says, do kids show regression in virtual autism? Okay. So the answer to that question is all late talkers show regression, meaning they don't listen, they don't try talking, those behaviors come back. This is what usually people qualify as regression. And all late talkers, it doesn't matter if they have a physical problem, ear infections, they have an environmental problem, a tech addiction, quiet households, people who ignore them, people who try to control them. If any of that is happening, those symptoms that got you starting to watch these videos in the first place, started to get you in the diagnosis realm, all of those other things that happened, they will return. So there are many reasons that children stop using the spoken language that they know. And I want to say 100% of the time, when we're talking about children who have virtual autism, true autism, cerebral palsy, other kind of genetic syndromes, brain conditions, apraxia, and just general speech and language delay from environmental neglect, ear infections, all of those things have this same wave, the ups and downs. When everybody's connected and everybody's focused, you see that ticking up. You see the speech starting to come, you see the behaviors going down. But as soon as somebody gets triggered, it goes straight back down again into the previous comfort zone of communication. So your child's going to take a step back. When you look at the workbook levels, you may see at home a lot of level 4s and 5s. When you go out in the community, they go back below the line into 2s and 3s, because outside of the house, they're not equipped and empowered. You're not training. You haven't trained those things. You haven't coached your child to get them ready. You haven't planned together the experience you're going out. Because if you do those things ahead of time, then when crazy things happen in the world, the ice cream falls down, you have to wait in line, the store you want to go to is closed, it starts raining and you can't go to the park, any of the things that happen to you in your world that are you didn't plan, but they happen anyway. When you are an ongoing facilitator and you have a plan every day to work through problem solving and work through these triggers when they happen, that's how you deal with the fact that your child is regressed, okay? You remember, it's not your child that is regressing. It is something happening in the environment that's triggering either you to change the environment or somebody else to change the environment that is not connected and motivating for this late talker. That's exactly why they have. So, yeah. So I was revising your book today. Nazi D says revisiting maybe, and it's consistency. Mastering consistency is the challenge. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. That's why I have these videos. That's why I do that for you. And I'll show you again these two videos. Just in all you have to do is type the word consistent. Consistent. How do you keep consistent progress? Here's tips to help parents see consistent progress in speech development. And here's one that just talks about exactly what is happening when you quote unquote regression, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, how to ride the wave, right? Now, how you ride that up and down is you have these accommodations ready, right? Maybe your child, you never thought about introducing something like a squishy caterpillar on a tether to your 5 or 6-year-old child or 7 or 8-year-old child even, because this is baby stuff that you order from China that you don't think. But there are a million ways that you can use this caterpillar toy on a string to facilitate spoken language. You can give this guy a name. You can do your best to destroy it. I mean, I'm telling you, there are a lot of different things. You can stick it on things. You can make it walk. You can put it to bed. You can treat it like a baby. You can feed it. You can toss it. You can, try to destroy it. All different kinds of things that you can use when you use your imagination and you're connected with the child, okay? But you have to show up every single day, ready with new ideas. That's why I have so many videos to give you ideas. I was a therapist. It was my job to come up with these ideas. There are full playlists on how to use animals, food. Now there's one about using chewy things, right? Just to help your child. But you don't do any of these activities. You don't give your child any of these activities and let them do them on your own. You have to be the facilitator. That's why you're watching this. And if you learn to be a facilitator at the same time you get things done, 2 things happen. You become more efficient and things get done, and they get done completely, and they get done step by step by step by step. So that's the first thing. Things get done because you plan it, you organize it, you schedule it. Number 2, your child starts to get more calm because you're on schedule. You have structure introduced into your house. It's not hardcore military school structure, but it allows your child to relax because they know what to expect from you. They know that they're going to have to step up and brush their own teeth because you're not going to do it anymore. They know they have to pick up their own clothes because you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to show them how they're going to do it, and you're going to start by doing it together. And then you're going to pass off that responsibility bit by bit by bit, step by step by step. At first, you do all 3 steps 99%, your child does 1%. Then the next day you do 98% and your child does 2%. Maybe the third day they'll do 20% after watching you go through the entire process twice, right? Your kids are super smart. You have to give them credit for picking up good ideas, but you have to have good ideas to give them. That's the only way that they're going to consistently make progress, because when good ideas come from you, those triggers go away and they can focus on what they can do to help themselves. All right. So really quick, I want to talk about the resources on the channel, and then I'm going to get out of here so you can head over to TEMU and start shopping. So number 1, on the website, you can get my workbook, my If It Isn't Fun book. This is available on Audible. And this workbook is available. Like I said, you can get this fun book in paperback and Audible and digital. And then this workbook is the key to staying consistent, recording your progress, keeping everything going. And then you definitely want to stay connected with my weekly newsletter. Just like you show up for the videos here, you want to get my newsletter so that you can see my 7-page Get Started guide and consistently stay alert to all the things that we're going. And then my membership. So you want to access the membership now because it's going to have you at, like, you can get all the videos, all the training. All you have to do is be responsible for your progress. If you're looking for something that you want to change, you want a behavior to stop, or you want a new one to start, first of all, you decide how and when will you facilitate that using your workbook. Then if you need strategies, there's some in the workbook, but there's 700 in the membership. So you go in, you keyword search echolalia or consistency or more speech or conversation or social skills or academics. All these things that you need your kids to be starting doing so that you can send them to school, so that they will be able to make friends and grow up and get jobs, so they lose their anxiety about communication and develop social skills and interest in exploring and not just learning from others, but teaching others. So they get so confident that they start to do this. Okay? So this is, do you recommend a communication board with a child with words? Says, yeah, for a child with words. And my answer to that, Nancy, is absolutely not. There is no reason. You're wasting your time. Let's go again. This is the question. Do I recommend using a picture board of any kind? Picture system, sign language, any of that. I do not recommend. It is a whole entirely new system and language that you and your child have to learn. And it's not the outcome that you want. You want the spoken language in the language that you speak at home, or multiple languages if that's the way it works in your household. Okay, outside of US, most families are speaking more than one language. And parents are facilitating both languages at the same time, just like children learn them naturally all over the world. So if you're trying to learn a whole spoken language that you want your child to use functionally in conversation and not just to request needs, because that's what these boards are for, is to help your child request a need. But in your house, you know what your child wants. They've already been telling you for as long as they've been alive. They've been showing you through their behavior, and you've been guessing what they want without these devices. So what I teach you to do is to use the things that you're already using now, that physical demonstration your child is already using, with your intuitive understanding of what that nonverbal language is, to shift that nonverbal language into spoken language. You don't want to shift it into a communication device and then into spoken language, especially if a child already has words. So the reality for all children who already say words is that their understanding of spoken language is far higher than their verbal expression. And somebody is trying to use a picture device or imitation or something to pull those words out of a child, okay? And that's not going to work. The kid will say words. They will use those devices. They will learn to do it. I'm not saying that they won't or can't do those things. I'm just saying, if spoken language is what you want, functional spoken language that your child can use, not just in your house, but everywhere they go. When they go to school, when they go to the store, when they go to karate class or swim class or go to play football on the football team. They need to have speech in order to be able to make friends and listen and show everybody that they're super smart and super talented and have all these abilities. And they can't do that with talkie board. So Nancy says, thank you. So happy that you're joining me today. All right. So there aren't any more questions coming in for this episode. I just kind of wanted to leave it with that TEMU haul and some strategies about chewies. I hope you guys find the chewies that are interesting for your child. If you try a few out, please let me know. And don't forget my TEMU code. Here it is, AFC92454. You can screenshot this, or it's also below in the description of this video. When you get to checkout, type in this and you can get 30% off for new TEMU users. And I just want to thank you again for joining me today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, join my memberships, and dig in. Your child is waiting for you. There's no reason to wait anymore. There are workshops, videos, workbooks, everything you need once you decide to stop giving this job away to somebody else and take on the everyday job. It's a super fun job of facilitating the spoken language that your child wants to use and you want to hear. Thanks again for joining me, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.